Beth had been a trusted babysitter in her neighborhood for years, and she never expected anything strange to happen on her watch. But one night, as she was settling the children into bed, something caught her eye. The bedroom window was slightly ajar, and a strange figure was standing outside, peering in. Beth cautiously opened the window and was met with a sinister grin. The figure slowly raised its arms, and Beth felt a chill run down her spine. In a flash, the figure had disappeared. Beth quickly shut the window and checked on the children, but they were fast asleep. She stayed with them until morning, terrified out of her mind. The next night, Beth arrived early to the house and noticed the same figure in the shadows outside the window. She quickly grabbed the phone and called the police, who arrived just in time to catch the figure. When asked who the figure was, all Beth could do was shake her head, but the police soon identified him as a wanted serial killer. Beth had narrowly escaped a gruesome fate that night, and she still thanks her lucky stars. Amy had been eagerly awaiting her first babysitting job for weeks. She had heard all the horror stories, but she was confident that nothing bad would happen. But as soon as she arrived at her destination, something felt off. The house was dark and quiet, and the parents had left in an unusually hurried fashion. She quickly put the children to bed and decided to watch some TV in the living room, but something made her get up and check the children's room. When she opened the door to the first room, she was met with a grotesque sight, a tall figure shrouded in shadows standing over the bed. The figure suddenly turned towards her and began to move closer, and she felt a wave of fear wash over herself. Amy quickly shut the door, her heart pounding in her chest, and ran to the next room, but the figure had already moved on. The second child's bed was empty. Amy waited until morning, scared out of her mind, until the parents finally returned. When they asked her why she was there so late, all she could do was point to the empty bed. Liz had always been a keen babysitter, her gentle demeanor and loving nature making her a natural at the job. She had been working for the same family for close to a year, looking after their two young children who adored her. But one night, everything changed. She arrived at the house as usual, but something felt off. The family's usually friendly cat was growling and hissing at her, and the children seemed extremely subdued and scared. But there was nothing she could put her finger on. She put the children to bed, but as soon as she walked back through the house, she heard a strange noise coming from the kitchen. When she went down to investigate, she was met with an eerie sight. A tall figure shrouded in shadows standing in the corner. Liz froze, unable to move or scream, but the figure seemed to be aware of her presence, slowly turning towards her and stepping forward in the dim light. She could now make out its features, a pale, gaunt face with deep, sunken eyes and a wide, sinister grin. The figure advanced slowly towards her, and Liz could finally muster up the courage to scream. But it was too late. The figure lunged towards her, and she felt a sharp stabbing pain in her neck. Liz awoke in a daze the next morning, feeling disoriented and groggy. As she slowly came back to consciousness, she realized with horror that the figure was still there, and that it had been watching her sleep. With a surge of adrenaline and desperation, Liz grabbed the nearest kitchen knife and ran out of the house, never to return. The family never found out what happened to Liz, and her disappearance remains a mystery to this day. The children were unharmed, but everything was broken. Whoever was in that kitchen that night was not human.